Hello, I am so excited to be here live today with Marlo Stone from Marlo in the Mix. And we are going to be talking about a 6 year journey. I was actually thinking how long Marlo's been my client, and she wrote today in her post that it's been 6 years. Sometimes it's really hard for me to remember because I'm so lucky. Oh, here's Marlo. I'm so lucky that I have so many patients and clients that I've been connected to for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. So, hi, Marlo. How
Hi,
are
Jody.
you? Can you hear me okay?
I can. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yes, I can. I'm going to turn my volume up all the way up, and then I can. I was just reading your post and I saw that we've been working together for 6 years.
Actually, so I
Longer?
posted that, and then are we just going to keep going with this
Yeah,
now?
yeah, yeah. We'll just
Okay,
keep going. We're good.
because I have like all these props that I pulled out. So I found, how do I get this? I found this
Oh
little
my gosh.
bundle that said 2013. That was
2013.
my first one. So I'm not great at math. I'm a musician.
That's like 8 years. That's 8 years. That's more like almost 9 years. We're going into 2022, right?
I
So,
know.
wow.
And
Wow.
then I found the next one that was the alumni program 2014. So I had to do more digging because I said, well, if I was an
Wow.
alumni in 2014, then I was a newbie in 2013.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Those are like old school books too. Like
Yeah.
it's interesting to me, right? Because it's not even called Cleanse for Life anymore. And
Right. Right.
just the whole journey of that has been interesting too. So wow. So we've known each other for almost 8 years. And that's so amazing. And my sort of goal for this is for you to talk about your journey really in an attempt to help other people
Mm-hmm.
what's also possible for them, especially now, Marlo, because I don't know about you, but everyone I speak to has hit a wall.
Yeah.
Everyone seems so exhausted. Like, I don't know, how are you feeling these days?
It's been a grind. It's definitely been brutal. Probably one of the most brutal years of my life, or if not the most brutal year of my life, just emotionally. So, yeah, I have clung to all of the bits and pieces that felt manageable from your training for me over the years. And I'm not just saying that because we're on this live together. Like, uh, you would be the first person to tell people to try different things and have different coaches and learn different philosophies and find the one that fits. And definitely over the past couple years, like whether it's been emotional or body image or all these different things that as a performer and musician and vocally and all that kind of stuff where you want to be like sort of high performing, I've had to consult different people. And the interesting thing for me is, and I'm not sure, we've never talked about this because like we're just using this as a chance to catch up, which I love. The interesting thing for me is that it always circles back. I'm like, oh yeah, Jody said that. Or yeah, oh yeah, this is just I can tailor this and make it more like so I just find that I keep coming back to your basic philosophies, and some of those are just as basic as reminding myself that putting myself first is self-care for not just me, my whole family, and it's not being selfish, and it's not because and the language that I use to talk to myself like I'm just going to be selfish today and do something for myself, you would tell me, like I always have your voice that comes in and says, you would tell me that's the least selfish thing that I could do, because if I don't put myself first, then I won't be strong enough and I won't be healthy enough and I won't be this enough for my husband, my kids, my parents, my family, all that kind of stuff. So I would say that's the biggest message from you that I've been really trying to keep going during all of this craziness of the past year or two, is just take those moments to put myself first, which in turn will put everybody else at the top of the list too. But don't put myself on the bottom of the list. And I can hear I hear your voice. I love the sound of your voice, and I hear your voice saying, don't put yourself at the bottom of it. You have to be at the top of the list.
Yeah, or just on the list.
On the list, right.
There's so many people probably listening to this that are resonating, right?
Yeah.
And they maybe, if they're not my clients, they don't work with me, and they come in, because most women come in and they think self-care, which can mean so many different things, but is selfish, right? And the truth of the matter is, with that mentality, you can't change, because time is limited, right?
Yeah.
And if you're not going to carve out any time throughout the day for your health,
yeah,
mental, physical, emotional, and all the things that it takes really to feel well in your body, then like it does start there. So I guess I'm so grateful that you've taken in the message, because so many people think it's like, oh, it's going to be the diet, the cleanse, the program, the right therapist, the right book.
Right.
But
no,
it's not that. It's actually you the person finally realizing that you have to prioritize the time, and it's pertinent. So can you talk a little bit about what happens to your health when you do prioritize it and you are, fueling your body? Like, what have you seen food does to your body positively and or negatively?
Yeah. So I think that's the benefit of these 8 years that we've kind of been weaving our time together, because as I said, sometimes it's only natural, it's human. You're going to veer, you're going to crash, you're going to, whatever it is, you're going to go on vacation, or you're going to have times in your life where you just say, screw it, I just want to enjoy or whatever. And I'll never forget one conversation we had. I think about this a lot in my daily life, because one conversation we had where I'm a writer, and so it's sort of like I think of things in sound bites almost, because I'm a songwriter and stuff like that. And I was just like, oh, Jody, you just said something that totally resonated with me. The way you want me to eat for myself is my comfort food. And I remember thinking that for so long in life, oh, I just want to have those fries, or I just want to have that burger, like as my reward or whatever it was. And flipping that, the way that I thought about food around sort of as the junk food being my comfort food. Now I pulled out, I was like, all these things that live in my kitchen. wait, hold on. I'm not good with this. So I've got like my hummus here.
Yeah.
Almond butter, my little cacao coconut balls,
Awesome noms.
Yeah, all these things that you have sort of taught me to pepper into my menu of the day, that now those are my treats. And those feel like I feel so much better after eating those things. And I feel better the next day, like physically with my digestion and all that kind of stuff, than I ever would have had having that other comfort food. And so I know this is a long answer, but I think that, when I start my day with my lemon water and my cayenne, which for 8 years, literally, I've still been doing that thing. Like, obviously there's days when I can't, but a good day is when I wake up in the morning and I start with that lemon water and cayenne to get things moving. And then it sets me up to know that the next thing I'm going to put inside is also going to be caring for myself. And the next thing I'm going to eat is going to care for myself. And that's why I love your new umbrella, Rituwell, because I feel like these are the things that are going to keep me well and keep me on the list and keep me being strong for myself and my family. And it's not that other stuff. That's not comforting. This is comforting. So the Rituwell is what's comforting for me. That's what I keep coming back to. No matter how I veer or whatever. It's actually having the ritual, which I'm a totally disorganized person. I'm a musician. I'm like, my brain is scattered in a million places. So it takes a lot of effort to have rituals and to have systems in place. This is really hard for me. But when I do, thanks to you and your philosophies, and I just notice my day is just that much better. I get to the end of the day and I feel like I did so much for myself, and all I did was sort of just follow the ritual and eat comforting food, but good comfort food.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Again, so many things that you're talking about, I think so many people can resonate with. So many people come in and they think the reward at the end of the day is the chips or the
Yeah.
cookies, right? And our brains can tell us that, oh, life is so hard, go have it. The problem is that 20 minutes later or in the morning or even an hour later, most people, when they eat those kinds of comfort foods, they then suffer, right?
Yeah.
Their stomach hurts, they're tired, they're sluggish, maybe they wanted to lose weight and now they're no closer to that. So, to me, a reward, and whoever's listening, because this is something that I teach in my groups, a reward is something with only positive consequences, right? Or mostly positive consequences. And when you go to your rewards as foods that are harming you over and over again, then
Mm-hmm.
you stay in the cycle of being ill,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like when you're going for the comfort foods of, eating more sugar, especially when you've had times away from it, when you've been eating sort of, like you said, taking care of yourself, what do you notice happens physically?
uh, Everything just is puffy, and I'm sluggish, and I don't feel creative. That's like a whole other thing for me. I
Yeah.
feel like I want to sleep more, and I just don't feel like myself. I don't feel like I have that extra bounce
Yeah.
that I normally have. And it's definitely cumulative. So I think even and it's cumulative the other way around too. So a day or two of following the rituals, or the lemon water in the morning, and then the eating clean, kind of good foods, nourishing foods all day, thinking about myself, putting myself on the list, all these different things, even just 2 days in a row, which shouldn't it doesn't sound like a lot, but in our crazy lives, like, that takes a lot of effort for
Yeah.
somebody to actually do it 2 days in a row. And by the third day, I definitely noticed that was hugely beneficial.
Wow. So in just 3 days on the program, and again,
Yeah.
this is,
Uh,
you telling people, not me, in
yeah.
just 3 days, transforming what you're
Yeah.
eating and starting to focus on fueling your body with good food, like you said, lemon water, and not just that, but also putting yourself on the list,
Yeah.
prioritizing time, because that's what this is about too. The food is really secondary. The food and the movement and the pieces and the rituals will happen when
Right.
the foundation, like you said, is set. So in 3 days, taking care of yourself in this way, what do you notice? Like, what can you promise to people if they embark on the 10-day program? And even you could talk about what happens after the 10 days. Like, what have you seen after 10
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
days, emotionally, etc.?
So definitely it takes about 3 days to kind of get into the groove. And I've done this probably, as we just said, like for about 8 years, at least once a year with you, I would say, over the last 8 years. So it takes a couple days to, you know, either if you're doing it for the first time, kind of get organized, feel like you're getting into a group. But by the third day, there really is this clarity. I can't explain it other than just feeling like, okay, I can do this, and I'm feeling good, and like my systems, my internal systems are sort of, working well, and my brain feels clearer. Usually for me, by like the third or fourth day, like I'm gonna sit down at the piano. I might do some writing, and I haven't picked up this book or my little journal where I write my songs and stuff for weeks, months, or whatever it is. And
Wow.
suddenly by the third, fourth day, I'm like, yeah, I have space. It just feels like I know, and maybe it's the predictability also of just knowing that I don't want people to think that your program is very prescribed, because it's so not. Like,
Mhm.
it's not like, oh, I know in 2 hours I can eat this and then I'm going to have, so I only have this 1 hour. What I love about your reset is just that you actually veer away from that as much as possible and saying, here's a humongous list of things that are going to make you feel great over time. Just eat them. And I'm not going to tell you, I know there's been times where I've been like, but Jody, how much? How many almonds? Or whatever it is. And you're like, as many as you want. So that's
Yeah,
the thing that,
not a diet, and a lot of people struggle with that. They want, like, tell me I can have 12
yeah,
almonds. The
yeah.
truth is, like, some days you might want 15, and some days you might want 10. And like Marlo said, it's about serving your body and eating foods that nourish. There's no prescription, and it's not a diet. I would say, if anything, it's anti prescription and diet, because
Yeah.
we're always evolving and changing.
Yeah. And I think if anything, I'm going to try to do this again because, yeah. So, like, here's the things I just pulled out on my counter. All these things that, like, you've taught me over the years are just great. And now they're just, like, I don't even think about it. It's just part of what I eat. It's part of my grocery list. It's part of what my family eats. It's just, everybody likes everything. It's not, we're not trying anymore. It's just sort of part of it. And I think, yeah, so it just takes a couple days to get into the groove, but after that, everything just feels more organized in life. It just feels like you have a bit of a plan, and you know what you're trying to do for yourself, and it becomes a ritual. And I think that's the most, I know in your teaching, and sort of for me also, that it just becomes second nature. Like, I don't think about it on most days.
Can you talk specifically, Marlo, to what physical symptoms people can expect to change over the 10 days, in just 10 days, especially with where people are at right now? Like, there's
Mm-hmm.
people listening to this that are probably so stuck and so tired and so burnt out. What can they expect at the end of this program?
So I just think in general, there's a levity, like a lightness that you feel after the 10 days for sure. I'm not going to say, oh, your stomach's going to be flat or you're going to feel skinny. That's not the words I would want to use. It's just more that you're going to feel lighter, like less of a load is on you and your system, psychologically, physically. You're just going to feel like you have a plan. And I feel like for me, over 8 years, what's been great is, no matter, as I said, where I veer to or what else I try or I might not try or deviate, vacations, whatever, I come back and this is waiting for me. I just come back to it. And that is just the same as coming home. Like, it's that same feeling as just, my kid's away at university now. When he comes home, that's the same feeling that I have if I have to go on a trip or come back or have a crazy time in my life. I know I can return, and this system is sort of waiting for me, and I will feel better if I get through those 10 days. So I really think that it's the lightness, and just like that you're not shouldering everything, that there is something that can help you. I think that for me, it's the clarity that I feel like at the end of the 10 days, I really feel creative. I feel like I'm looking at the world through a different lens. It seems silly. Like, I even saying to you out loud, 10 days isn't that long.
Pretty amazing. I think the reason is because it's not just about the food, right? The food is the sort of foundation. That's what we're doing, right? It is a reset program. We are focusing on eating good, clean fuel, and we are going to be taking out the stuff that doesn't serve. But at the same time, um, working on the mental attitude, working on the mindset piece, like you said, understanding that to keep this going,
Mm-hmm.
it takes so much more than just 10 days, right?
Yeah.
People will get physical symptoms, physical changes, like you said, in
Yeah.
3 days. In 3 days, Marlo's at her piano, feeling lighter, more clarity, energized, excited, seeing life in a different way. By the end of the 10 days, I can feel it. And regardless of what's going on in the outside world. And then the goal is to build that, right?
Right.
keep it consistent. And that's, really what's important. And that was left as a gap for so many years, but now it isn't, through the Rituwell community, which can really serve as that for people who are just getting started at, like, maybe it's their first ever 10 day and they're like, oh my God, what now? There is a next step, because for Marlo at the beginning, it wasn't easy. It's easy now after 8 years. She stayed committed to it because of the results she was obtaining. And now it's easier, right?
Yeah.
It's not maybe easy all the time, but it's easier. It's more natural.
And I think after doing it for 8 years, and sometimes twice a year over those 8 years, so I've met so many incredible people who have been in these groups also, and I've heard their stories, and it's all confidential, but we really share a lot, and the community is a huge part of it. I've made some really amazing friends, and we still check in with each other. How you doing? What are you liking? What's working for you? All that kind of stuff. But when I'm sort of on my soapbox telling people, oh, you have to talk to Jody Lear, you gotta try her program, it's because I wasn't a coffee addict when I started, and I didn't have some of these dependencies that other people had, but I had my own. We all have our own, but a lot of people seem really hooked to their caffeine, and also complain a lot about headaches. That's not really been an issue for me, although people in my life will say I have headaches a lot, but I don't think of it as something that I have a ton. But hearing their stories after the 10 days, and sort of the things that have gone away for them, it's pretty miraculous. Like, yeah, no more headaches. I've had migraines for 6-7 years, but I haven't had one the past 10 days. I just think, how is that possible? But so I'm not just talking to what I've experienced, which has been incredible, and it creates this home base for me, but hearing all the other stories is just incredible to me.
No, for me too, like, even 16 years later, I've been practicing as a naturopath for 16 years, and it never gets old. Like, watching people come in so with IBS, so constipated, so bloated, in so much pain, inflammation, arthritis, anxiety, depression, mood swings, bloated, all these things. And then literally, it sounds too good to be true, but as Marlo says, it isn't. And in 10 days only, literally, like Marlo said, headaches gone, sleep happening, stress levels going down.
Yeah.
For Marlo, I love that it helps you with your creativity, and there's scientific reasons for that. I'm not going to go into them. I love my science, but there is scientific reasons why when your stress levels are down, when you're prioritizing yourself and your needs,
right,
all of a sudden that very rat race type part of our personality where there's no creativity.
Yeah. It feels like there's space.
Down. Exactly. And then there's space. And in that space we can create. And, it's so interesting, Marlo. I'm just going to read this because something I wrote down in my notes that I just write in the morning, because I'm sort of, I guess, a writer too, not a songwriter, I just write a lot. And I wrote down just this morning, creativity only happens in rest. A new way is only ignited from calm. Change happens in the open spaces. Yet we hustle, run, chase, do, and try to be as productive as we can to achieve our worth. Things need to change. Our parents had it wrong. So it goes on. But the point is we all think like we got to go, do. Everyone else, busy. And then we wonder why we're like exhausted, depressed, creative, burnt out, angry all the time, bloated.
Yeah.
It's like we got to slow down and say, okay, A plus B equals C.
Right. No, that's amazing. I'm like, were you in my brain this morning, or were you free floating there?
I don't know. I was just writing. I just was realizing, because there's just so much hustling for our worth.
Right.
And that leads to so much illness. And I see it. And I was trying to find a way to explain to people that rest and creativity is like, they're married from a scientific perspective, and we have to get out of this mindset of like do, neglect our own needs, because then we're just emotionally exhausted and there's no room to create anything.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's what's so beautiful about,
Yeah.
you shifting your food, you shifting your mindset, you getting into the energy of me guiding you and, getting into your space. And then all of a sudden in 3 days, you're more creative, you're more in tune, and you look at life in a different way. And that's really my mission for people,
Yeah.
is to give them the space, the guidance, and the community, which you also touched on,
Yeah.
to really change their lens and in that change their life.
And
So
I love the way that you're just incredible. Here's my chance to just be a big super fan, because I think you're incredible at synthesizing things. And just like how you said A plus B equals C, like the C is my creativity or whatever it is. And one thing you said to me in one of our sessions with a group, a couple, I would say maybe 12 months ago, we were in the pandemic, and I bring it back to my family all the time. And so they remind me of some of the quotes that you say, even because I say it to them. So many a walk looking for nature and novelty was one thing that you said during COVID was so important. And so even like a month ago, I was on a walk with my son. We went for a hike, and he's like, nature and novelty is going to get us through. And I'm like, yep, exactly. So that's another thing. I just think I'm not sure I would have heard that from you if I hadn't been in the group and we've been having this like honest conversation, and things just come out when you feel supported and safe. And so nature novelty is like like a buzz phrase that we use all the time now in this family, thanks to COVID and you. And what you said earlier about the reward, is something that I've passed on also. Even my husband's an executive coach, and he deals with some of the highest like CEOs and all stuff in the world. And I was teaching him about what you said about rewards need to have be a reward. What you had said originally when we talked about it was a reward all the way through.
yes,
Is how I remembered you saying it. And he loved that. And I'm sure he's using that in his work too. So we definitely have all these like sound bites from you and our groups and our time together that help to propel us and keep us thinking of what's important for us as human beings and our community. And I'm just so grateful.
I love it. My heart literally like explodes when I hear that stuff that I teach is being passed on. And that's really the point, right? Is to pay it forward and to keep sharing the wisdom and allowing people to understand really what's at the foundation of change and health. It's not the green juice. It's actually our relationship with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much, Marlo. That was so amazing.
Thank you.
Your honesty, and I think this will be so helpful for so many people who want to understand what it is that they're going to obtain coming into this community and coming into my energy and the group's energy, and that truly in 10 days your life can be different, very different, and you deserve it. People deserve this so much, and right now more than ever, right?
More than ever. I can't tell you how many people. I'm so happy. Thank you for the 10% off for all my friends. Yes. Finally, I can say, and now you get 10% off. You have no excuse. Please do it. And I know it's going to make a huge difference to so many people, as it has for me over these 8 years. And I just don't think you need anything else. As I said, I've tried lots of other things, and it always circles back to these simple yet incredible philosophies that we've just needed you to sort of pave the way for us. So thank you so much.
I love that. My pleasure. And yes, anyone in Marlo's community that wants to join, anyone that's inspired who's just watching this, there is a code that I will share. I don't know it offhand. I think it was Mix 2021. So
Mix 2021. Mix it up.
Mix 2021. Awesome. And the next reset, the last one of the whole year of 2021, starts in a couple weeks. You can go to the link in my bio and check it out if you were inspired by this conversation. Thank you, Marlo, again. I hope to see you in person soon and give you a hug.
Me too. I can't wait. Thank you
Have
so
a
much.
wonderful day. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.